Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to my channel where I do reviews, reactions, and commentary. My name is Dee and I'm back at it with another video. So today I actually wanted to come at y'all with a commentary type advice-esque type video, pretty much regarding home buying and the home buying process. I was able to buy my house this year at 24. I'm 25 now, but when I bought my house, I was 24. I was able to buy my home with $300 down at closing. I think that the main ways that I was able to do this was from allocation of resources and connecting with people who kind of were able to guide me along the way. Because I was so blessed with being able to buy a home for so cheap upfront, it's only right for me to kind of pass this information on to you all in the hopes that you all can take this information and kind of do the same for yourselves. So without further ado, let's just get right into the video. The first thing that I kind of wanted to talk about when it comes to home buying is the need for you to get out of your own head and to just do it. I had wanted to buy a house from like 2021 and I just always felt like I was too young or I just wasn't ready or my credit wasn't there when all I needed to do was start. If I would have started then, I probably would have been had a house because the process was a lot easier than I thought that it would be. And there were a lot of more resources and help available than I thought that there would be when I started the process. I just thought that it was a lot harder back in 2021 than it actually was. Step two, I would say, is to educate yourself. So if you're watching this video, you're probably already past step one, which is trying to get out of your own head and just starting. And you're on step two, which is trying to educate yourself. I would say good routes to educating yourself is YouTube videos like you're watching now. There are also a lot of community organizations that provide either free or low cost home buying classes that also come with certificates. In those classes, you'll learn about loans, loan fees, loan officers, realtors, how to find good realtors, grant inspections, just everything that you would really need to empower yourself to be able to advocate more for yourself during the process. Those organizations sometimes also have houses for either lower income individuals or individuals who have gone through their program that they keep just for those particular individuals. So if you go through those programs, you might be able to connect with somebody who has connections to connect you with the housing that they have available for the people who have gone through their program. So that might be a good way for you to get access to a home. Those organizations might also connect you with a housing counselor that can connect you with other resources that you may need, like, for example, a good realtor, or they might connect you with a great credit union or be able to point you in the direction of good banks and good credit unions. Basically, they're there to help you get started and they help you figure out whether or not you're even ready to buy a home. So they'll talk with you about things like your credit score, if you have any debt, how much you need to get your debt down by, budgeting, can you manage having a home, what your price range of the home should be, things like that. The next step is for you to write out a plan for yourself. So when I say write out a plan for yourself, I mean literally sit down with a piece of pen and paper and write out what your dream price for your home is, what you would like for your house to look like. And I mean, like, be descriptive, like what colors on the wall do you want? How many bedrooms do you want? How many bathrooms do you want? Do you want a full basement? Do you want a full backyard? Do you want a front yard? Do you want a little garden area? Things like that to kind of paint the image of the home that you want to live in, to kind of help you A, with manifesting, but B, help you with narrowing down what type of home do you want? What location do you want your home to be in? Things like that. So kind of coming up with a game plan to start out with. After you kind of come up with a game plan of how you want your home to look like, what location you want your home in, what price range do you want your home to be in, I would say find a realtor. Some people would say kind of connect with a loan officer first. I did connect with a loan officer first, and I don't think that that is the step to take, because when I found my realtor actually connected me with a better bank and connected me with a better loan officer. So the first step is to find a good realtor for me. So what I did to find a good realtor was I actually started out through one of the community organizations that I was telling you about. So I actually started out working with Habitat for Humanity, and Habitat for Humanity connected me with another organization called Working in Neighborhoods. I took my home buyers course through Working in Neighborhoods and got connected with a housing counselor. That housing counselor connected me or referred me to a really good realtor that I think would have done a great job. But I continued on to do my own research and I ended up finding a realtor off of Reddit that ended up being like literally God sent for me. She literally connected me with my loan officer. She connected me with a good bank that was able to connect me with great grants for my closing costs, my down payment on my house. And then she also connected me with my inspector that came through and honestly offered me great deals on my inspections for my houses because I actually had to do two inspections because the first house that I wanted wasn't up to code. That's another point. Don't skip your inspections. You need them. You don't have to go with the first realtor that you find. You can call around and listen to your instincts. Go with the one that you connect with the most, that you feel like can help you the most, and the one that you feel like is most willing to walk you through the process, handhold you through the process. Your next step is to find a good bank. Now, a good bank is a bank that will give you a good interest rate, but also a bank that can connect you with financial resources. So, for example, the first bank that I went to was PNC Bank, and actually, from the way that the loan officer broke things down, like they weren't going to really offer me anything. I think they were going to offer me maybe like $5,000 towards the closing costs, but as far as rents and things, like they weren't going to offer me anything. Now, I then went to another big bank that you need to avoid. I went to Chase Bank. Chase was pretty much the same thing. The loan officer was a little bit nicer. I think he mentioned the welcome home grant, but I'm not 100% sure. The bank that my realtor connected me with, they connected me with a grant that was citywide. And then I also got connected with a grant that the bank offered. And my loan officer actually stacked both of those grants and was able to get me $25,000 towards my closing costs. That's why I say a lot of the times your realtor is able to connect you with a great loan officer that's able to kind of offer you some grants and things like that. Now, when it comes to grants, if you go to a bank, if you're able to do your own research and find grants that your city is offering or that your county is offering, I would say when it comes to grants, start off on the city websites and then go through the banks and see what all they have to offer as far as financial assistance goes for first time home buyers. If you go to a bank or a credit union and they tell you that they cannot stack grants, find a different bank, find a different credit union. And to side note, credit unions are better for home buyers than banks. They offer more and they're more client centered versus being like more bank centered or focused on getting their organization more money. So yeah, when it comes to banks and grants, if they tell you that they can't stack grants or if they tell you that they can't get you multiple sources of financial resources when it comes to like your closing costs and things like that, 9 times out of 10, that's not the best bank for you. There are banks that will stack grants for you. Stacking grants equals more money for you, so you want to go to the bank that can get you more grants. Now, throughout this whole process, you still want to make sure that you're saving because there are other expenses that you will have to pay, like, for example, your inspection fees and things like that. You don't want to miss out on those things because there might be some foundational things that are wrong with the house that you don't really see when you first do your first walk in or that you can't really catch with your eye that an inspector would be able to pinpoint off rip. So you don't want to skip out on your inspection. So you do still want to make sure you have like $3,000 or $4,000 saved, kind of cover any pop up costs that you might have or any like fees that you need to kind of pay for before you get to your closing date. And then also keep in mind that your realtor also has a fee as well. So you still want to save. And then you also want to make sure that your debt, I would say your debt needs to be below $10,000. I say that because, like I said, a lot of these organizations offer homes for people who are going through their programs, for people who are lower income. So, for example, Habitat for Humanities, they tend to have houses available every 10th of the month for lower income individuals or lower income families. And then working in neighborhoods, like I said, they also had houses available for individuals that went through their home buyers courses. In order to qualify for those houses or for those programs, your debt most of the time has to be under $10,000 and it can't be considered bad debt. So you kind of want to make sure that you're keeping your debt to income ratio pretty low just so that you can possibly qualify for some of those programs. You want to make sure your credit is anywhere between, like, I think a 650 and higher would be good, just to make sure that you qualify for a lot of these grants or a lot of these housing programs. They also require a certain credit number in order to be able to qualify. If you do need to get your debt down and your credit up, get a second job. I had at the time I had a credit card that I think was about at like $7,000. I got a second job and I was able to pay my credit card off in like 4 months, and it shot my credit score up to like past the 750s. That helped me a lot with being able to buy a home and being able to qualify for certain grants and housing programs. I will say that a lot of the grants and things open up around March and April. So you want to make sure that you're getting yourself through these home buying courses, making connections, finding your realtor and things like that early in the year around like February, just so that when these grants and things open up, you're ready to hit the ground running and apply, because they go just as fast as they open. Like the grants are gone within a month. So you want to make sure that you're prepared for whenever those applications open up. So another way that you can kind of minimize the cost that you have to pay at closing when it comes to buying a home is you can ask the seller to pay some closing costs. Now, I didn't do this because when I was coming to the table, I was coming to the table with a loan for my house. I also had a Addy grant that was $15,000, and then I had a Welcome Home grant that was $20,000. So that was like 35,000. And then my realtor, she also liked me, so she forewent her, if that's a word, is that a word? Forewent? It matches, so I'm gonna keep it. So she forewent her I can't believe I just. So another thing you can do to kind of minimize your costs when it comes to buying a home or the home buying process is you can ask for the seller to pay some of the cost. I did not do this because by the time it was time for me to close, I already had a grant that was $20,000, and then I gave up another grant that I had that was $14,000 because I wanted a particular location. If I still kept it, that would have been $34,000 towards the house. I wouldn't even have to pay closing costs at all. But even with the $20,000, I was still in a good position because my realtor, she ended up really liking me, and she told me I didn't have to pay her fee. So that was another $5,000 that I didn't have to pay. So altogether, $25,000 that I didn't have to pay. I literally came to the table only having to put $300 down for my home. So I didn't really feel a need to kind of ask the seller to pay any costs. But most realtors aren't going to forego their pay. So if you're not in a situation like me, another way to kind of finesse more money out of the situation for yourself is to ask for the seller to pay some of the closing costs. There are people who only had to bring $0, and there are also people who ended up getting cashier's checks back. There are people who got money refunded back when it came to the closing date because they were able to like stack grants and took the extra step forward and asked for the seller to pay some closing costs, things like that. It's definitely doable. It's definitely possible, but I just felt like at the time I was already getting so blessed that I didn't need the extra funding. But if you need it, you can ask for that. I will also say, like, you can pull on your family and ask for like gifts. Gifts are a form of income that you can use towards your down payment. So any money that you get from like family or friends, welcome it, take it. You can use it towards your down payment. You also can ask for an early bonus to be able to buy a house from your job. If you feel like it's a good enough reason, you can also pull out of a like emergency fund from your retirement account to put towards closing costs or like your down payment costs for your home as well. So there's other avenues that you can go to like kind of pull money from as well. Okay, so that was it for me. Real quick, I just want to kind of summarize my main points that I talked about in this video. So first, get out of your own head. Two, educate yourself. Three, find a good realtor. Four, look for grants. Look on the city website. Look at different banks to see what they offer. Look at your county to see if your county offers something a little bit different than a citywide grant, things like that. Five, do not skip out on locations. Do not skip out on kind of like writing a list of your needs and your wants for the house. I don't know if I mentioned this, but don't sacrifice your location. Location is extremely important when it comes to your home and when it comes to like getting ready to sell your home. So you want to make sure that you buy your house in a good location, a location that you feel is safe, that you wouldn't mind like actually staying at for a couple of years. Make sure you're still saving. Even if you are using grants, there are going to be costs that pop up that you need to kind of pay for out of pocket. So make sure that you're still saving. You can ask for your seller to pay some of your closing costs. You can ask for money from your friends, from your family, and then also lean on your job. Ask for that bonus, especially if you know that you work hard and you deserve it. Ask for an early bonus to be able to improve your quality of life or to advance yourself. You never know until you try. Get that credit score up and get that debt down. And I think that's everything that I pretty much mentioned in the video. I bought my house for $300 down, and I truly do think it was due to blessings and due to kind of a lot of people helping me along the way. So I wanted to kind of make this video to kind of help you guys. Hopefully, you guys found it helpful. Please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.